Shots in the Dark contains graphic depictions of events that may not be suitable for all listeners. We encourage all of our listeners to be open-minded and engage in dialogue with us through any of our social media accounts or email. Ooh,
that was weirder than it needed to be.
It was very weird.
Blah.
Never done that before.
Nope. Hi, and welcome to Shots in the Dark. I took that from you. Boom.
Do it. Take it.
I'm Whitney.
And I'm Ty.
And hi.
I feel like we have a lot of ground to cover today.
Yeah.
The first thing that we should probably do is take our shot.
Cheers. We're both on the gay plane.
The gay plane.
Yeah, I'm the pilot. I'm not very good at it, clearly.
So am I the co-pilot?
No, I think you're the plane. I feel like you'd be a really fabulous plane.
Oh, like a private jet or something?
Yeah, but like one of the ones with a really great interior. Since we both are gay and it is currently Pride Month, we wanted to make what we're telling stories about for at least the predominance of this month to be themed for Pride.
This is an all-inclusive space,
yeah.
And we love everybody. But, you know, this month we are celebrating the LGBT community as best we can with stories about murder and haunted places and the paranormal, which is a weird way to celebrate, but that's our show.
When I was telling my roommate about this earlier, she is an amazing cake maker. Like, holy cow. If you guys ever want to look at something super cool, look at her cakes on Batty Cake Studio on Instagram. They're everything.
Oh my God, that it cake that she made the other day, I've been showing it off to everybody.
There is a friend of hers church is very accepting for any and everyone that wants to be part of it, which is, I feel like, the way that religion should be. It should be inclusive. She's making a cake for a church, and her friend was like, make it the gayest cake ever. And she's really excited. She's like, she bought 50 yards of rainbow tulle, so I want to be able to match that level. I thought it was so great. So, on that note, Ty actually has a super cool update, which he's been keeping from me for the last several days, on a story that we released this last week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's the story about Kelly and Jason Cochran and that amazing former police chief of Iron River, Laura Frizzo. So she works for the feds now.
Awesome.
Yeah, she's a real big deal now.
Yeah, high five for her.
Super cool. I watched Dead North. I didn't realize how much there was there in between the time that they were suspected of committing that murder to the time that they were actually apprehended.
Mm-hmm. Well, because it sounded like it went pretty
Kelly
quick.
was apprehended. Yeah. Each episode is an hour long, and it's got all of the people that were involved in the case. It's super in-depth. The thing that I didn't know happened that to me was a nightmare was the neighbors that lived next to Chris and Kelly Cochran, these two guys and their grandmother.
Okay.
They had noticed the night that Chris Reagan had been murdered. The grandmother noticed that there was a gunshot sound that had come from the house. It woke her up, and she went to the window and she tried looking over there. She couldn't see anything happening in the house, but she could hear a woman screaming like, no, no, like she was really panicked. Kelly did say that it was supposedly not planned that Jason was going to shoot
But they had
him,
talked about it prior.
And they had also, I found out, killed more people.
Yeah.
So she said that she was woken up by the gunshot. She had heard a woman screaming, what she thought was no, but it could have been anything, but she was distraught. And that shortly afterwards, a car, which turned out to be Chris Reagan's car, had ripped out of the driveway.
I'm wondering, just based on what you were telling me last week, I'm wondering if maybe she was screaming no to kind of cover her ass in case anyone heard the gunshot.
Yeah, that absolutely could have been it. It's weird, though, when you watch the interviews with her and the interrogations of Kelly Cochran, she always says the same thing. Oh, I love him, or I loved him, depending on which interrogations and interviews you're watching. She always speaks about him affectionately, but we don't go and kill and dismember people that we love. The next thing was the people that lived near them, these neighbors mainly being the people interviewed in Dead North and speaking about it, noticed that they started doing a lot of renovations on the house.
Oh my gosh.
At weird hours of the night.
Oh, of course.
Well, what they assumed were renovations because there were power tools running at all kinds of weird quiet
Oh my
hours of the
gosh.
night, and this went on for days apparently. Kelly and Jason Cochran invited their neighbors over for a barbecue.
Yeah.
The two boys that lived in the house, they were hanging out with them a whole lot because they like to go over there and just sit around a bonfire, drink beer, smoke weed.
Yeah.
They were buddies. They would all hang out.
Clearly these people weren't someone that's going to be like, no, you shouldn't do that. I
Yeah.
feel like probably smoking pot is the least of anyone's worries on that particular property.
Yeah, exactly. They were friends. They would hang out regularly. They would go do things together. So they really trusted Kelly and Jason, and the two boys go over there for the barbecue, and they thought it was weird because they were always broke. And all of a sudden they had what the two boys described as looking like between $200 and $300 worth of meat.
Wow.
Jason Cochran had told them that he used to be a butcher in Indiana and specialized in exotic meats.
Yuck.
So he told them that these were exotic meats that they were eating.
Yuck.
And the worst part for me of Dead North is listening to this grown, very gruff, burly man on the verge of crying, talking about how traumatized he was
sure.
after he found out that they ate Chris Reagan.
Oh, yuck.
They served him his body in multiple different forms. And you know how some, like you and I, you know how we've had conversations about how humans kind of taste like pork?
I mean, neither of us really knows, but that's what's been reported.
But that's what's been theorized.
Except for the robot that says that we taste like bacon.
He didn't say that. He said that the meat smelled rancid and foul when it was on the grill, but because it was told to them that it was exotic meat, they didn't really want to question it, and they didn't want to give him a hard time. And he said that when he ate it, it resembled the kind of meat that was inside of a lobster. It had a similar opaque color, and it also had a similar texture. And I don't know what part of the body that would have been, but they ate multiple different parts of Chris Reagan that day. And when this guy is talking about it in Dead North, he goes pale. He's like, I don't trust anybody. I have eating problems now.
Oh, I'm sure.
He said, I don't want to eat anything. I've lost a considerable amount of weight. And those were my friends, and I trusted them. There's also something about all of the butterflies that Kelly Cochran had tattooed on her arm and around her house.
Do they think that they're in memoriam?
They do.
Yuck.
They think that she would get a butterfly when they would kill somebody. I haven't gotten that far in Dead North. I'm going to. I feel like everybody else should just watch it because it's such a cool story.
But no matter what, we're going to update it because I have yet to watch it.
So that was what I found out about it. We'll keep everybody updated if they don't want to watch it, but you really should because it's a cool show.
Yeah.
Do you think it's about time for you to tell me about some true crime?
I'm going to tell you about a wonderful human being.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. Legitimately. And a few terrible, terrible human beings.
Just the way you said that, I feel like I already have a picture of what's happening.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not great.
So I'm going to just drink my wine.
So no trigger warnings, but I will warn before it gets graphic. So Brandy Stevens Rosine was a wonderful human. Anyone that I've seen interviews with, anyone that I've seen or read anything from has said how amazing she was. One of her friends from her high school days said that she's the person that she wanted to grow up to be. She loved writing and music. She was a member of the orchestra while she was in high school, the paper, Italian club, reading, and she even went to literary meetings at the library. She apparently was super well known for her contagious smile and infectiously funny personality. Almost everyone that has met her absolutely adored her. And when she went and had gone to college, she was double majoring in psychology and sociology so that she could help people in her future.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. She sounds everything that's cool.
Do you know what year she graduated high school?
2010s.
Oh, so really recent.
Yeah. But she had quite a few friends. And when she was younger, she'd figured out that she was gay. Her mom, when she talks about her later, and they're like, well, you know, did she have any problems? And her mom was like, oh, no, I knew before she did. I absolutely accepted her at any point in time because it's just, she was her.
Yeah, and that was her baby.
In accordance to one of her friends, she did have a little bit of a hard time when she was first coming out, but a lot of people do, and it wasn't because she was mistreated or anything like that by family or friends. It was just, you know, trying to figure out what she liked and what she didn't like, which is something that evolves throughout your entire life.
And also, kind of dealing with the what ifs of telling people. You make that jump for the first couple of times where you tell people that you're gay openly.
Yeah.
And you don't know what they're going to say.
Yeah. She is really good friends with a few different humans, one of which was helping her through this coming out process, obviously, still being a friend to her. Actually, most of her friends were being that kind of pillow. Not that her mom was not accepting of her, not that her family was unaccepting of her. It's just sometimes it's harder, dependent on who you are and the way that you feel generally.
Yeah. Everybody's got a different experience.
Yeah. She graduated high school and had met Nicole Olmsted, who's known as Jade. They had started talking online and had developed a relationship. Both lived in Ohio and fairly close to each other.
Oh, cool.
Jade was reported to be quiet, and a lot of people thought it was that she was not accepted by her religious parents, and she seemed to be a little bit more shy about being open about it, although she did have a girlfriend prior to dating Brandy.
Did she just have to keep everything under wraps, basically?
No, her parents, for whatever reason, and this happens to a lot of people, her parents had decided that she could just, like, flip a switch. That's how that works, right, when you're gay?
Just not be gay?
Yeah.
Because, Whitney, I don't know if you knew this, but it's a choice.
Yeah, it's because of the ghosts that live in your body.
Ida McMasterson?
Yes.
Can I ask you a question
Yeah.
about Jade?
Yeah.
Do we know why she went by Jade? Was that her
No idea.
Okay.
A lot of people said that because Brandy was so giving and so willing to help people, it opened her up to being taken advantage of, and Jade pretty openly took advantage of her. She didn't feel like she had to work. She didn't feel like she had to do that much. Brandy really liked her and supported her and her decisions. Their relationship eventually ended after Jade stole money from her and skipped the state.
That's rude.
Yeah. I mean, I surely hope that would end the relationship.
I mean, yeah, me too.
Yeah. High five Brandy for being like, no, man.
Yeah.
They did stay in touch, and according to one of her friends, because, sometimes that first bigger relationship, you want to stay in touch with that person, even if they're not the greatest for you.
That is what I hear.
In accordance to one of Brandy's friends, Brandy would give her the phone number for Jade and then tell her not to give it back to her. And then, like, a couple weeks be like, okay, give me a phone number back. I'm just deleting it out of my phone, but wait, no, I need to talk to her again, so we're going to talk again. So it'd be like an on and off conversation, not very romantic. But to a lot of people, it seemed like Jade knew that she could still manipulate Brandy, and Brandy would just welcome it because she had a big heart.
Which sucks. The nicest people are the ones that get taken advantage of.
Yeah, exactly. There was even a time that Jade had asked for Brandy to come pick her up in Maryland from Ohio.
What? Did she do? Of course she did it. Did she do it?
I've seen reports that she did, and that pretty much as soon as she brought her back, Jade's ex-girlfriend, Ashley, picked her up and brought her to Pennsylvania. So enter Ashley Barber. She was Jade's girlfriend prior to Brandy and Jade dating.
Because you did say that she had already had a girlfriend before she met
Yeah, and
Brandy.
possibly multiple, but this is the one that I know about. A lot of friends of Jade had said that Ashley Barber was aggressive and someone who at least tried to show outwardly that she was a tough guy and would go from there. She was pretty abrasive to a lot of people, and a lot of her friends would say that she's also remarkably jealous.
Pure speculation. I'm not claiming to be able to know what was going on inside of Jade's head, but I feel like for a person that's shitty enough to take advantage of a good person, they would need somebody who is super abrasive and aggressive like that, who is not going to fall for their bullshit, to be like head over heels for them.
I don't see that.
No?
But obviously I know the story and you don't. So I don't
Okay.
see that at all.
Jade not being able to manipulate this chick as easily as she was able to manipulate Brandy.
No, there was a mutual codependence. After Ashley had picked her up and brought her back to Pennsylvania, they started dating again, and Jade started living with Ashley and her parents in her parents' house. During this time period, Jade and Brandy still stayed in contact. Once again, there were no romantic ties. They were only friends. Friends of both of theirs would repeatedly say no, they weren't trying to start something again, but would say that they thought that Ashley might be a little bit jealous about them even still speaking.
She was friends with her before you came into the equation. Yeah.
As she dated her before they dated.
Before she came back into the equation. You don't get to pick and choose who people are friends with.
One of Brandy's friends, or maybe a mutual friend of theirs, I didn't see this information anywhere else besides the documentary, but she was speaking about some Facebook messages that she got that were pretty much hateful towards Brandy and her still speaking with Jade from the once again girlfriend.